Hello guys. So today let's talk about another set of questions for manual testing interview. If you have not gone through my part 1 video related to the manual testing questions, please go through so that you can get some fair idea. So let's start with this. The first question is, what are the black box testing techniques? So there are four types of black box testing techniques. So before going to that, let me explain you what is black box testing. In black box testing, testers are not aware of the source code because the codes are written by developer, right? So they know the code. As a tester, we are not having any idea about the coding. We are just testing an application without knowing its code, right? But what are its techniques? So there are four types of black box testing techniques. So let me provide you the answer here and I'll explain you with an example so that you can get an idea. So the first one is equivalence partitioning. You can call it as equivalence partitioning or equivalence class partitioning. And why it is called equivalence class partitioning and what kind of testing it is, I'll be explaining you with an example so that you can get a fair idea. So here I have divided the amount in three classes. Rupees 100 to rupees 1000. So if we are buying something, a sale is going on, okay, and if we are buying something which is above, which is 100 or above 100 to 1000, then the discount is 5%. If we are buying something which is 1000 or above, okay, and if it is between 1000 to 2000, it is 10%. If it is between 2000 to 3000, it is 15%. So this is the discount we are getting. Now as a tester, it is very difficult for us to enter each and value and test for the discounts, right? It is very time consuming. So what we have done, we have divided the values here. Like 100 to 1000 is one partition, 1000 to 2000 is another partition, 2000 to 3000 is another partition. So in this class, like 100 to 1000, here we are not going to test by entering each and every value. We are going to select some random values, like we may test 100 by entering 100, we may test by entering 1000, or maybe some two more values which is falling in between this. So we are not entering each and every value to test. The same way, 1000 we are going to, 1001 we are going to test, 2000 we are going to test, and maybe some other values in between. So like this, we are going to save our time by dividing the values in partitions. Hope you got it. So what I have mentioned here, it is a testic it is a test design technique which is used to identify defects by entering valid and invalid values from partition. So valid values are nothing but which are falling in between this. Invalid are like, if suppose I'm taking 99. So if I'm buying some product for 99, it should be invalid. It should fail. I mean, there should be no discount for that. So that is an invalid value. Okay. So let's go to the next one. The next one is boundary value analysis. In boundary value analysis, so we are testing an application by entering the boundary values. Like, let me explain you with an example. Okay, let me take a same example. So, as you know, the classes, the partition says that if we are buying something between 100 to 1000, the discount should be 5. So how we are testing this? We are testing with boundary values. Now what are boundary values? 100, we are testing with 100, 100 minus 1, 100 plus 1. So these are the boundary values. And again in this, between 1000 to 2000, 1000 we are going to test. This is 1000, okay. 1000 minus 1, 1000 plus 1. And again for this range, 2000 to 3000, we are testing with 2000, 2000 minus 1, 2000 plus 1. So 2000 minus 1 is nothing but 1999, and 2000 plus 1. Let me do some correction here. Okay, so this is 2000 plus 1, 1000 plus 1. Okay, so this is how we are testing the entire scenario by just 6 values, 9 values. Okay, by just entering 9 values, we have tested the scenario, and now we are sure that application is working properly. If all the test cases have passed for this, that means application is working properly. We have saved our time by not entering all the values which are falling between 100 to 3000. Okay, so let us see what is decision table testing. It is a test design technique where we test the behavior of an application with different set of conditions. Now let me give you an example so that you can understand what kind of conditions it is. If suppose the requirement is like, I need to enter the name, email ID and address so that I can log in into the page successfully. So this is the requirement. So I am going to test the application by provided requirements, like by the certain conditions. Now the condition is, if I am entering the name, email ID and address, then I am going to get the success message saying that you have logged in successfully. If suppose I have not entered the name, I have only entered email ID and address, then I should not get the success message, but I should get the error message. So Y stands for yes and N stands for no. And another set of conditions are, I am entering my name but not email ID, but I have entered again my address. So even in this case, I should not get the success message. I should get an error message. So these are the set of conditions to test the application. So if these are actually matching with the requirement, that means application is working as expected. So this is what decision table testing means. Now the next one, state transition testing. State transition testing is a type of software testing which is performed to check the change in the state of an application under various inputs. So let me explain you with an example. So to understand an application, to understand the requirement, we should know the state transition. Now state is what? Now if suppose there is a bank website, the requirement is, if I am entering invalid user ID and password for continuously 3 times, then it should block me. This is the requirement. So to test this application, I should be checking whether if suppose I have entered into blank, I have opened the bank website and I have clicked on login button. So as soon as I click on login button, what is the transition I'm expecting? I'm expecting that it should allow me to enter user ID and password. So the page should be user ID and password page. So this is a login is a state. The transition is this. And after that, if suppose I'm entering invalid user ID or password, it will again take me to the page where it is asking me to allow one more time. So these are the transitions. If suppose even after 3 times I have entered incorrect user ID and password continuously 3 times, then what transition I'm expecting? I'm expecting I should get a block message. So that sequence what I am expecting, the change of pages, the redirection of pages, whatever I am expecting. So that is a workflow. And so this is what state transition testing. So this is the main thing. What we are doing, we are checking the change in the state of application. So once we click on login, something is changing, right? It is taking us to the user ID and password page. Hope you got it. Now the next question, what is priority and severity? So I've already mentioned here, Priority defines how urgent it is to fix the defect. So how we are going to decide whether it is high priority or not? If suppose there is a defect in the application and that defect is highly impacting the business, we are not able to, in an application I'm not able to buy a product, that means it is a high defect, so the priority will be high. Then what is severity? Severity, how we are defining, is to what extent this defect is impacting the business. So in interview, they may ask you like, give me some examples for high priority and low severity. Give me some examples of low priority and high severity bugs. So at that time, I'm going to give you a few examples here, and after that you can create, you can think, and you can write down more examples. If you understand this one, then you can do it easily. If suppose there is a spelling mistakes in a website, then what it is, it is a low severity because it is not impacting the business, but priority is high. How we are defining that priority is high? Because it is spoiling the brand image. Okay, if there are some minor errors in the website, that means it is the brand image is getting spoiled. Now another example, website is crashing while using rarely used feature. Now there is a website and in that frequently asked question, there is an option, right? Hardly we are using that, and even if suppose that is not working properly, it's not going to impact the client's business, right? So it is high severity but low priority. Severity is high but priority is low. Even if we are going to fix this defect in the next release, that will be fine because it is not impacting their business. Checkout button is not working during peak hours. This is high severity and high priority. Both are high. Why? Because if a person is not able to check out, that means he is not going to buy those products. Then ultimately it is a loss to the business owner, right? So this is high severity and high priority. So this video is going to be long, so I'm going to stop for today. And in my next video, that is in part 3, I'm going to discuss about these things like what is regression, what is requirement traceability matrix and all. Okay. And in my previous video, I have explained you how to introduce yourself in the interview. Please go to my part 1 video of manual interview questions and then check out how to introduce yourself. And also like I have explained you what are mock interviews, and if suppose you want to give mock interviews before going into real-time interview to gain confidence, you can contact me on this email ID so that I can take mock interview sessions so that you can build your confidence. So hope this video was helpful. If you're having any doubts, you can write in the comment section so that I can answer. Thank you so much.